Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Kurek with Frontrunners Innovate, and I have with me a very distinguished gentleman that actually was introduced to me by someone else I have interviewed. And as I told him, she could not stop saying so many good things about him. And I wrote his name down because she said it like 3 or 4 times. So the Honorable Clyde Rivers is with us. And he's like a leading expert on world civility. He lives in California, but he is an ambassador representing Republic of Burundi and about to become a development king in the kingdom of Ghana. In a kingdom, did I say there were a kingdom in Ghana?
Yeah. A kingdom in the country of Ghana, Africa. Yes.
Ghana, Africa. Okay. Also, the president and founder of I Change Nations, which, I mean, the title alone makes you want to meet somebody who says they are the founder of that. And that is all about the culture of honor. And I can't wait to hear more. I don't want to say too much because I want you to share that with us. But let's start with your background, sir, Sir Rivers. If you tell us a little bit about where you came from and why this type of work.
You know what? I grew up special education. I rode a short bus to a special school, and the people told me I wouldn't amount to anything.
No.
And then I'll tell you, I'm a faith-based person.
Yep.
When actually God got involved in my life, everything changed. Wow. And I actually, man, it's people would not believe my story. I was doing missions work in Uganda, and I met the president's protocol of Burundi. Mm-hmm. And what happens is he asked me to come in and meet the former president that passed in May. Mm-hmm. And I went in and I met the president, and he says, "Would you become my honorary ambassador for my country?" I said, "I know nothing about politics." He said, "You have a clean heart." And he says, "A clean heart can see far."
Wow.
He said, "It's not about politics. It's about a clean heart to help people." So I had no diplomatic experience, but I could see right from wrong. That's not right. That if you do that, there's going to be a consequence. So I was able to say, "No, that's not good. That's good." And mm-hmm. and I've been the honorary ambassador for over 15 years now. So I came in when the country was coming out of the Civil War, mm-hmm. With the Hutus and Tutsis, and I worked with President for 15 years, and he just passed in May. But I can tell you, it's one of the first countries that I've seen where man, I'm telling you, when I first went in, Mary, there were bullet holes all over the wall. 15 years later, the whole country has a spirit of entrepreneurship, because the president created a community works day to where every Burundian works every Saturday for 4 hours to build their own community. And he created a spirit of entrepreneurship.
Wow. That is really amazing. That's pretty, I love that. We need to institute that everywhere.
see, and you know what, as you're aware of, when you begin to do things like that, it doesn't make countries that like need you poor. It doesn't make them support you at all. As a matter mm-hmm. of fact, they become your enemies at times, because they need. See, I tell people, never need poverty to have a job. If you ever need poverty to have a job, no, make sure that you always are able to lift people out and you go higher with the vision, but never need poverty as a job.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, this is good stuff. You could teach a course on that. Well, so you met him there. I could see how that connecting point happened, and you got there on a mission trip. Was that through a church?
Yes. Okay. Miracle Faith Church. That's a church that I'm the pastor of, and I started doing missions work about 20 years ago, and it's just evolved into at the end of the day, I believe that God made everyone, and I believe everyone has good in them, mm-hmm. whether they believe like me or not. My job is to help everyone fulfill their mission in mm-hmm. life. I tell people, if you live a life of making others great and it helps other people, you'll always be in the equation.
Well, good. We'll be in the equation. We hope to do that. We're always trying to help other people see their greatness,
Yeah.
and show that to other people. This is fantastic. So let's ramp up now to where you're at now and how you're serving, and tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing now as an ambassador with Burundi, and then also coming forward as what is the King of Development. So that title.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
What I did as the ambassador of Burundi, I would just connect people to actually learn more about the country, because I learned one thing, Mary. People don't know what they don't know, but they believe everything they hear. So
Yes.
If you've heard misinformation about a place, the only way to get that erroneous information out is to have experiences. So what I did, I would connect different organizations, different church groups, different people into the country, so that they had a true understanding of things. Because I say, Mary, this is what I say. I always say, how do things really work? Don't give me the structure in your head. How does it really work to bring change? And so I was able to bring the country into a lot of good relationships that the country still has with different organizations around the world. And then a couple months ago, there's a gentleman that's been trying to meet me for about 3 years. And he called one day. I picked the phone up, and he's with the king of the Fanti tribe in Ghana, Africa. So we started talking. He goes, "Hey, I've been trying to meet you for 3 years." So we have a meeting, and he says, "Would you become my king of development? So at the end of June, I'll be installed as a king." Wow. As a king. Now watch this, Mary.
How does that even happen?
This is all God. This is all.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what I tell people? I go, look, guys, I believe in a biblical worldview, and I'm not angry at anyone that doesn't believe like me. I'm not angry at them. Man, you can believe how you want to believe. I'm just telling you what happened in my life to get me to where I'm at today. And what happened is, see, part of the role of a king in a kingdom is a lawgiver.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So the major role of a king is to judge the affairs of the people of his subjects. See, isn't this interesting stuff?
It is. I'm like writing it down, just trying to get it in my head. So from the government standpoint, how does government and king, where do they meet?
They work together.
Or do they?
They actually work out their relationships. So it's a working relationship, and in most countries, the actual Supreme Court of the country is the only voice higher than a king in some countries.
Wow. Well, I knew that the influence was there. In fact, I was on a phone call the other day with the DeSable Museum in Chicago, which is the largest African-American history museum in America. And we were talking about royals and the lineage and how important they were. And I told her, I said, in all the interviews that I've ever done, and I have a partnership with a gentleman in Nigeria, and I said, my feeling is, from what I am learning, is that the traditional royals have far more influence, and in some cases a lot of power over people more so than the government does, in terms of who they listen to, who the people listen to. I almost feel like it's it's more with their traditional royals.
It is.
So,
it is. It truly is, because you have to realize many governments rent land from kings, because the kingdoms were there before their governments were established. So I tell people, the one that owns the land is really the owner.
Yeah.
There's interesting things that take place in kingdoms. It's really interesting.
It really is. This is great. So you think maybe the Burundi people shared that information about you with the Ghana people, or that's how they found out about you?
And again, as the World Civility leader, and with the whole platform started with I Change Nations.
Okay, now we're getting to that. Okay, I was going to introduce that, but you just did. So tell us about that.
Yeah. What I did a couple years ago, I'm traveling the world and I said, I see a problem in the world. We only highlight the bad. And I said, whatever you praise, they'll practice. So I saw all these good people doing good things, but no one would acknowledge them as modern day heroes. So what I did, I put together a structure that would qualify leaders that are helping humanity. And I said, we need to recognize the top people in the world that are doing good for humanity. So man, I Changed Nations. This actual past week, I just named the like top 30 people in the world for different components of civility, bringing civility into their countries. And it's interesting because I discovered something. If no one knows who's doing good, there are no role models in countries that people to follow.
Yeah.
So that's a concept that I created. And now we have so many people doing good around the world that good is going to eat up all the negativity.
I'm hoping so. That's part of the reason we do what we do, is to bring the greater good spotlight.
Yes.
And put it out there. So I Changed Nations, I love that because it speaks exactly what you intend to do. So the mission is, give me a sentence mission, just one sentence. Yeah.
The mission is to establish the culture of honor to change culture.
Okay. I wanted people to get it as a one sentence so that they could remember it really easily. So this work that you're doing then, and it has you traveling, and I guess during pandemic, you're not able to travel as much, so you're doing virtual stuff. What is on the plate for going forward with I Changed Nations?
Let me tell you what I've learned. Man, Mary, I learned a valuable principle. What I did with I Changed Nations, I created the I Changed Nations Global Civility Icons. Now, what is this? See, I tell any smart leader today has to think like, and I'm going to use a name that some people, I may not agree with all the practices, but the model is Amazon. You build a stage and let every good thing on your stage. And so what I've done, I've created a stage and I allow anyone that's working for humanity with a civility component, they can use my stage.
Yeah. And
now we're exponentially growing, like Dr. Christina Kozaczek's, people like that. We have people that are all over. So now I said, look, guys, we have to know when to establish a stage and let everyone that's doing good walk across that stage with their message.
Wow.
And we are eating everything with a new, see, one of the things, Mary, that I tell people is this. So look at here, you have to know when to verbally engineer social change. Let me explain the concept.
Yeah.
The concept is there are times where certain words become tired. Yeah. Like in the beginning, it was a word that really inspired people, but it's been used for so long that it doesn't inspire, it becomes a dead word. So many organizations don't know how to verbally engineer the next level. So what I do, I help teach people, look, you need to interrupt that paradigm with a new narrative. So the one now for actually peace in the world, there's a new word, civility. It's new on the scene. It's as you hear what's this? Because sometimes the old words become tired.
Yeah. So tell me about, so icons, are those people or is that a project?
People. They're actually the top civility people every year. Like our person of the year this year was the former president of Sierra Leone, Ernest Bai Koroma, because he, in the midst of a hard time, he turned the power over in his country at the right time. Oh, wow. So even in a struggle, he turned over the democracy, the democratic process to the next leader. And that's huge because most people want to hold on to the power in some countries. and he turned it over. So that was for him to allow the democratic process to work in his country. So
really
now,
critical in that country. Yeah.
Where
history, yeah.
The history is, and you know, I tell people, we don't praise everything in everyone's life. We look for the good that they did to help further things in a positive light. And I had him on an interview, and I asked him a question. I said, what does progress look like when you take over a failed state? What does he says?
What a great question.
That's a great. What he said, Doctor, he said, small positive steps everywhere.
Baby steps. Yeah. One day at a time, one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And then next thing you know, you've got momentum.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what?
Yeah.
Mary, I think most people don't give things real time expectations. I tell every leader I'm with I Change Nation, I'm also a consultant. So I advise and I help people create initiatives. And I always tell them, I say, look, I say, think like a gardener, not like a mechanic. Think like whatever you're building, think like a gardener. Grow the narrative. Don't be a mechanic and just fix what's there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I overheard Oprah one day on one of her Soul Sundays say, you're like a Twitter a minute or a tweet a minute. you're just like nuggets of gold. And I wrote down 3 pages worth of stuff. This, you know, what you're doing is so needed and like you say, fresh, that it gets people thinking in a different direction, and it gets people of all ages to converge on the same subject matter. So as you go forward, what is next year, or let me just say this, what does the rest of 2021 look like for iChange?
What it looks like is this. I've written a book called When Histories Collide. Okay. Now this book here, and it's it's about a 1-hour read. Yeah. I was sitting one day and I said, what's the real issue of like social justice? What's the real issues in the world? And I believe I heard histories are colliding. And I said, what is an historical collision? Now watch this here, Mary. Everyone's experience is their truth. So everyone has an historical truth that's their reality, but it may not be the person on the other end of the equation's reality. So what happens, we have, our divides are really histories colliding, experiences that collide.
Yeah.
So everybody has them. So what I teach people, I go, look, you have to understand your history is your truth. Great. But the other person's is too. So now I'm easing the mind from I'm right and wrong. No, you're both right. Now, how do we go forward? So that's a lot of the work that I'm doing now. I'm helping people understand that, hey, your histories are colliding. When histories collide, it gives us more chance for better information to make a more wise choice to move forward.
It presents an opportunity, and it's just a matter of what you do with that opportunity. And honestly, if you've been trained from early years, then you kind of know better how to deal with that. But we don't train our youth like that. We don't. And I'll talk to you about that after we get off the interview. But I love this. So when's the book coming out?
No, it's already out. When
it's already
collide.
out. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when Histories Collide. So it's available on Amazon?
On Amazon, yes. And okay. I just wrote another book called Differences. And I talk about why do people expect everything to be cookie cutter when everyone's made different?
Yes, I know.
It's okay to look at things from a different narrative. It's okay. Now, how do we go forward with the narratives? That's the whole key for me is this. Everyone says start with the end in mind. I say no. Start with the next positive step we can make together in mind.
Yeah. I think
If
that's
we start
good.
with, if we start with the next positive step, and we do that every day,
Yeah.
we eat the whole field. If we start with the,
That's your, you know, the little steps that your gentleman was telling
yes,
you about before. So is being able to make those small steps. So this from a man who rode the short bus to school every day.
man, man,
How did they even, did they have any idea that you had this dream and this anointing in you? You had this, you know, this, you know, soul changing, life changing, world changing, you know, body of work inside you. So when did you know that this was what you needed to do? That's what I should ask.
right after I finished, I was a college basketball player for University of Utah.
Really?
Right after I finished playing basketball, I knew the minute I came home, I knew I would serve God forever. I knew Jesus had touched my heart. I go, I will serve him forever. I'm at 57 years old now, and I'm still serving. And it's and you know what? I've learned so much, Mary, about I tell people, I have no religion. I just love God.
There you go.
I'm not pushing. I'm like, hey guys, this is what helped me. And what I think happens at times is different institutions, as well-meaning as they are to help, can create so much division at times. And I'm like, great. And I'm like, it's okay to be different. So the work I do is, how do we live in the public square to where your family can go home safe and my family can? That's all we care. And then in the arena of politics, how do we create just narratives? And it's I mean, if you look at like institutions that have created caste systems and all these different things, I go, guys, if you create, there's a scripture, James 2:8 says, if you love your neighbor as yourself, you live under liberty. It says, if you mistreat your neighbor, you live under transgression. I go, guys, anyone that ever mistreats people, here's the final outcome. Just, it's a simple principle. What you sow
is what you reap.
That's it.
Are you sowing or are you reaping? There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's perfect. This is great. I didn't have any idea when I started this interview that you had roots into the spiritual side of yourself, and that was from, you know, that's the place from where all this comes. That's your source. But this is a great conversation, and I look forward to following everything that you're doing. But before we end up, tell us, you know, how do people engage with I Change Nations or any of the work that you're doing? How can they best connect with you?
They can get me on Facebook, social media, Instagram. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And now that, man, it's as I'm creating a stage, we have, man, Mary, leadership, people know when to back off the stage and give it to others and leave your legacy on. So they can get to me through like social media, and everyone that works with me, they can get to me through them, because our network, it doesn't compete with each other. We understand each other's assignments.
Well, that's the way it should be. That's good.
Yes. Yes.
So when we get with you, what kind of engagement would you be looking for from people? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for collaborators? Are you looking for people just to get the message and help spread it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what I created a concept called Civility for All. I have a solution. Civility for all. So I want everyone in the world to understand that you have no idea what the gifting of the person next to you is. Maybe this person that you think is a nobody has an assignment to rid the world of AIDS. Maybe this person next to you has a solution that would cure your sick baby, but this person doesn't look like you. This person's from a different culture, a different nation. So you have no idea what contribution you're destroying when you devalue humanity. And what happens, so I want people to help carry this. I have a solution. What is it? Civility for all. kindness and respect for all of humanity.
I love it. So it's a momentum, it's a movement, it's a message moving forward, and that's really what you want everybody to get from what you're doing.
Yeah,
Well,
and Mary, I'm sorry, Mary, watch this.
No,
I tell people, it's not a movement, it's my life.
it's your life.
but it is a movement.
Yeah.
But we're telling people, make it your life.
Make it your life. Make it who you are. Yeah, central to your being. So that's great. You are a ball of fun on top of just being so inspirational. So, Christine was right, and I'm going to have to thank her for connecting me to you. I really didn't expect this. I kind of expected more of a diplomatie sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you're that. But what you are is so much more than maybe just somebody who wears a suit and goes in and does diplomatic sorts of tasks. So this is really cool stuff. So thank you. We're going to watch you. We're going to help you spread the word, and hope that we can be a part of that as you move forward, and just be sort of a partner in bringing the word out.
Absolutely.
And people understand it. So thank you so much. And
thank
I'm
you.
going to talk to you in a minute about another project, another idea. So
okay.
Stay tuned, and bye everybody. We'll put all of this links. We're going to put all your links in the YouTube that you're seeing. If you're seeing this on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you're seeing this on Frontrunners Innovate, we'll have it down below the interview. So thank you. Take care.